Hello everyone, my name is Jesse Hebison, and I'd like to welcome you and thank you for joining our webinar this morning on SmartShield Plus Antivirus. This is our new product for people to use at home. I just started the recording. This webinar will be recorded today, and we will be posting it later on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, so you can view it later if you would like to see it yourself or have other people see it as well. I'd like to introduce my co-organizers today. We have Phil Simeone, Tony Schiblum, and John Pinnock. They will be answering questions if you have any today. Your microphones will be muted for the presentation, but please, I encourage you to ask questions using the questions panel or the questions functionality in the GoToWebinar interface. We will have a couple of polls during today's webinar, and when we will announce those when the time comes. So today's webinar, once again, is going to be all about our new SmartShield Plus antivirus product for home users or for people to use on their home computers. So to start off, I have a PowerPoint presentation that I'll go through just for the reasons why we've developed this product for people to use at home, and a little bit about how it works and how it can work and the benefits of it. Then after we finish the webinar, or excuse me, the PowerPoint presentation, I will go into more detail on the product itself and show you how it looks and how it works in action. So to begin with, I'm going to go ahead and forward to the next slide. So what is SmartShield Plus? As many of you probably know, we've been in business for almost 20 years actually, and this is the same security and protection that we use for business, education, library, government, the Department of Defense. For over 15 years we've been doing this, and it works very, very well. We have over 2 million of those SmartShield licenses in use worldwide, including some that people use at home with our enterprise product and not even the new home version. We are the innovators or the creators of the containerization or micro virtualization technology, which is that hard drive protection or reboot restore protection. We invented this, and we still do it better than anyone else, and now we're bringing it to people so they can use it on their home computers and have a security there that's needed and something like they've never had before. So the problems we see today, and we all see this, it's in the news, it's on CNN, it's everywhere. There's a record-breaking number of attacks. All the time, the people who create malicious code are figuring out new and better ways and more ways to get your personal information. They have new strategies, and these attacks are more powerful than they ever have been in the past. We'll go in the first section about more attacks than ever. There's breaches everywhere. We've seen them all at Home Depot, banks, Anthem, and these are not just the big companies that are being targeted. As much as we see big companies being targeted, it's also just you and I, your average user on a computer at home, is being targeted as well with malware, spyware, identity theft, botnets. This is all over the place for us, of course, on the large companies, but also at home. Just some stats that I pulled from Siren Security Yearbook, which is a large security firm. Malicious emails were up 50% in 2014 over 2013. So they're a huge growth in this sector. Malicious URLs or websites were up 159% just in this 1 year between 2013 and 2014. So once again, malware is everywhere, and there's a lot of money in it. It's only going to get worse. They're using not just more malware, but the attack strategies they use are better. So we've all seen this, malware and email attachments. Perhaps you get an email that says, hey, look at the attacked pictures, and in the picture attachment is actually embedded a virus. Or perhaps it's a false message. You get a pop-up, or even just click on something in a website that's been infected. Example of a pop-up might be a virus detected pop-up that you see, and you click it and it actually installs a virus. Or speed up your PC, and it installs malware or spyware, and when you click it, and then it actually, since you're clicking it and allowing it to install, a lot of times it bypasses your traditional antivirus protection. The big thing with both of these two attacks and many more attacks like this is the social engineering aspect is better than it ever has been. They're just sneakier about how they can get us to click these links and install the malware, spyware, adware, etc. on our computers, the unwanted software viruses. They're just better than they ever have been. They're very sneaky at getting you to click it. So they're more powerful than ever. There are actually more resources and more money behind these attacks than there ever have been. Once again, I pulled this from Siren, but this is an example of an attack mostly centered in Europe, but it was on Postbank.de, a large German bank. Just to give an idea of the power behind these attacks, there was an estimated 6.5 billion, that's billion with a B, emails sent on the first day of the attack. So you imagine the computing resources it takes to send that many emails out. It's just incredible. 19,000 different URLs or affected websites in one 12-hour period, whether those be affected or whether they're set up to, scam you into entering your bank account information, social security numbers, things like that. Just one 12-hour period, 19,000 different websites up. A total of 78,000 unique URLs were in a few days distributed as part of this attack. So you can imagine the resources that it takes to create an attack like this. Once again, these attacks are more powerful than they ever have been. And in today's day and age, you just need a new strategy to protect yourself on your home computer. So the traditional solution we all use on our home computers is antivirus. We all have antivirus, whether it came with the computer or whether we bought our own or got something for free on the internet. The thing about antivirus is it today works the same way that it has essentially for the past 25 years. It works with two different strategies, database definition. So antivirus companies have large database definition lists that they use, and those are known viruses, and they compare everything as they scan it to those known viruses, and if they detect something, they quarantine or delete it. They also use heuristics, which is kind of some algorithms that show the antivirus. It says, oh, I don't recognize this as a known virus, but it's very similar to this other virus that I do know, and therefore I will quarantine it. It looks suspicious, if you will. This is great. It still works today. Unfortunately, with the level of threat that we experience, it's not enough. We just there's too many threats, and as I said earlier, many of the malware that we see here at Centurion is installed by the user, so it bypasses the antivirus oftentimes because the user gives it permission to install on their computer. So you need a proactive protection, and the answer to that is SmartShield Plus antivirus. And just like in the name, there are two pieces to this product that we have. The traditional antivirus, as well as our SmartShield proprietary hard drive protection. This proprietary hard drive protection, as you would guess, is specific for us here at Centurion Technologies. No one else makes anything like this, but it's very much needed in the 21st century with the next level of threat that we face. So how does the antivirus work? We talked about this a little bit, but just to let you know, SmartShield Antivirus has a 20-plus year definition database, and it has some of the best heuristics in the industry. So it's a great antivirus. It works very, very well. It catches a lot of viruses, in fact, 99% of viruses that it encounters. But once again, there's another layer of protection that we believe is very much needed in today's day and age, and that's our hard drive protection. So our hard drive protection is proactive. It's not reactive. We don't wait to identify a virus and therefore have something like a zero-day attack bypass us. Or even if you accidentally click on a link because of some very sneaky social engineering, we are going to take that and make sure that all unwanted changes are erased when you restart the computer. So if you did not mean to install something and it installed a virus, you simply restart and that virus is gone, even if it bypasses the antivirus. Just a better level of security. Once again, very much needed in today's day and age as the threats increase and the power of those threats increase. So that wraps up my presentation, just to kind of give you an idea of SmartShield Antivirus, what it is and how it works. And I'm going to go ahead and close that out. And what I'd like to do is do our first poll right now. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that poll. And just the question is, what kind of antivirus do you use at home? And I have a few commonly used antiviruses here. And then I also have another category if you do not see the name of the antivirus you use at home on the list. So I'll ask that you go ahead and get your votes in. We'll give about 10 more seconds on that. So about 5 more seconds. You can get your votes in and then we'll share the results. All right. So share the results of that poll. It looks like it's about 50-50 of you on the webinar today are using AVG, and the other 50% are using something else. As you know, there are many antivirus companies out there that you can use. This is not by no means a comprehensive list. So I'll go ahead and get rid of that. And we'll move into the next phase of our webinar to show you the product SmartShield Plus Antivirus. So I have this loaded on a virtual PC. I'm going to go ahead and pull that up full screen so we can see it a little bit easier and give you an idea to begin with how the process works to purchase SmartShield Plus Antivirus. Unlike our traditional SmartShield product, you have no need to call in and talk to an account representative or anything else. All of the purchasing can be done online. You just go to our website, which is smartshieldplus.com. Click Buy Now, go through the process, add it to your cart, purchase the product. And once the product has been purchased, you'll get an email that's going to have for example, it'll look like this. Let's see if I can pull that up larger so you can see it. And it'll have your license key right here, so you'll know to install the product, you will need that license key. So this is your receipt, as well as something you'll want to keep just in a safe place, so you have that license key on backup. That license key is specific to you. Should you lose it, you can go back to our website and find it again later. Just log into your account you created when you purchased the product. But it's a good idea to save that email if you're able to. Then to install the product, you'll go out to our website again. Click the Support tab. There's also a link in the email, but you can get it here. Click the Support tab. Go to Downloads here. And just download the appropriate 32 or 64-bit version, whatever type of computer you have. If you're not sure whether you have 32 or 64-bit, you can click the Start button here, go to Computer, right-click, go to Properties, and that'll tell you if you have a 32 or 64-bit OS. So just download the appropriate version, and then when you install it, pretty simple, very straightforward. A couple of key tips. When you are installing SmartShield Plus Antivirus, you'll want to copy and paste the license key from that email. It's just the best way to make sure that you have the correct series of letters and numbers. And the second thing would be that you will create a password that you'll use for SmartShield Plus. You'll want to save that password in a safe place because our software is a security software. You will not want to, we don't have a back door, I guess I should say, to be able to recover that password should you lose it. So you'll want to make sure that you store that password in a safe place and you know that password. So on that note, that pretty much handles the installation process. Straightforward, easy to do. And we'll go into when you first install and then restart the computer. This is going to come up and give you a little bit of a tutorial on how to use SmartShield Plus. It's a little bit different than our traditional product, although the concepts are the same. So I'll start the quick guide. I'm not going to read all this, but take you briefly through it. It gives you an idea of how it protects your computer with both the antivirus layer and the SmartShield drive protection layer. Shows you the 3 modes we use for SmartShield Plus antivirus. So it's a little bit different than our traditional product, but you have unlocked in your installing applications, or basically when you're unlocked, anything you want to persist or anything you want to remain after you restart, especially like Windows updates, installing new software, things like that, you'll want to do that in unlocked mode. Then we have locked mode. I'll skip over here. And locked mode is everything is erased on restart. It doesn't matter what it is, how it is. When you restart the computer, everything will be gone. Those changes that were made during that session will be gone on restart. We have a nice in-between area that we call work mode. We envision many people actually using work mode to work day to day. This is how we use this on my home computer, is usually in work mode. And work mode allows you to save documents or other things to your most commonly used folders. For example, the user desktop, the user My Documents, my music, my pictures. But all other changes made to other parts of the computer will be erased on restart. So if you get a virus while you're in work mode, the virus is going to go into the registry or someplace deeper down into the computer to wreak its havoc, if you will. And a simple restart will get rid of the virus. However, the document you just saved to the My Documents folder or to the desktop is still there and saved, persists between boots the way you want it to. So this gives a graphic a little bit more about those 3 modes and how they work. So unlocked, everything persists. Locked, nothing persists. And work mode, the things you want to save persist, but the unwanted changes, fragmentation, other things like that all go away, viruses. And this is a nice little graph to give you some commonly asked questions and the answers to those questions according to the different modes that you might be in of the product. So that wraps up the quick guide. And I'll go ahead and bring up the product itself. So you can see I can find it here in the system tray with a nice little SmartShield icon. Or when we install it, we also create a shortcut on your desktop. I'll go ahead and click the shortcut on the desktop. I'll enter my password. And I'll enter it wrong just to show you what happens. I enter the incorrect password, but when I installed the software, I gave myself a password hint, and so now everyone knows my password because my hint is pretty obvious. And it brings me directly into the product GUI. So here we have your 3 modes which we just discussed. Once again, unlocked. We are currently in unlocked mode. You see it tells me that here. And when I reboot again, unless I make a change, which I haven't, I will be in unlocked mode on the next restart. I can go to locked mode simply by clicking or sliding the slider bar. And once again, all changes made to the computer will be erased on between restarts. I can click apply, and then it will prompt me, ask if I'd like to restart now. I can also go to, and then it gives me a message, I must restart for the drive mode to take effect. The reason you have to restart to change modes is because our protection is so good, so solid, so deep in the computer that we actually have to reset the computer every time in order to change that. The reason we do it that way is so no viruses can sneak in below our drive protection. We're protecting from sector 0 of the hard drive of the master boot record on up every sector of the hard drive. So we have to restart the computer in order to make a change because we are protecting you so well. But you get the idea of being able to flip back and forth between the modes. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. When you're in work mode, only changes made in the folders set as drive locking exceptions will remain between restarts. So what does that mean, drive locking exceptions? Well, these are the exceptions to the rule that says everything will be erased. So you can click here on exceptions. And you'll see by default when we install, we exclude or accept, create exceptions for the most commonly used user folders, the desktop, documents, pictures, etc. here. Now, if you'd like to add additional folders and create an exception for yourself that you believe would be important for the way you use your computer at home, you can add an exception. You just click Add and browse out to the folder or the directory that you would like to add as an exception. Or perhaps you'd like to take away. Perhaps you'd like a little more security and you don't want all these different things saved when you are in work mode. You can uncheck some of the boxes and then click Apply, and then those changes will be saved so that now anything I put into saved games will be erased on restart even when I am in work mode. So that pretty much wraps up drive locking. Pretty straightforward. You have, once again, unlocked, locked. All changes will remain between restarts on unlocked. All changes will be erased on locked. And then a nice middle ground with work mode. Now, before I move on through the rest of the product, go into the antivirus section, I'd like to do our next poll. And I'm going to go ahead and share that poll. And just to give us an idea as we're launching this product, we'd like to know if you can envision how you using this product or using that drive locking or drive protection functionality specifically on your home computer, if you think this would be a benefit to you. So we'll give you a few, about 30 seconds on this. If you could get your votes in. So a few more seconds, if I could get you to get your votes in. We're going to give about 5 more seconds, and then we'll share the results. So looks like most of you have voted, so I'll close the poll, and we'll share the results. It looks like most of you, about 67% or 2/3 of you, said you would use drive locking at home, although about 1/3 of you said you would not. So that's great information for us to have here, and we know that some of you would not be able to use drive locking. However, what we've found in our informal research is that most people, if they would not use it, still know someone that would. And the idea of SmartShield Plus Antivirus would be that, you know, the product costs $39.99 on our website, smartshieldplus.com. Why purchase another antivirus that would do essentially the same thing when SmartShield Plus could do so much more? Even if you only use the drive locking once in a blue moon, you'll pay the same amount for another antivirus today. So on that note, I'll show a little bit about the antivirus and the controls. Pretty standard stuff here, really not that complicated, not that different from other things that you've ever seen. It gives you some basic readout when I click on here on the antivirus home. It'll allow you to do a directory scan, so scan a specific folder directory, a quick scan or a full scan. Quick scan scans most common directories. A full scan scans the entire computer. And of course an update button to update the AV. It will update automatically at least once a day, but if you want to force an update, you can. Settings. Once again, this is pretty standard stuff you'll find in other antivirus products if you dig into the antivirus you're using at home today. Real-time scanning by default. Of course, we enable real-time scanning when you install it. But you can also have the scan settings set to scan archives, CD, DVD drives, network drives, etc. You can decide whether you want, when the antivirus finds something, whether you would like it to quarantine that something or permanently delete that file that it finds that it believes to be malicious. Of course, by default we do quarantine. The reason for that is there can be such a thing as false positives, meaning that it's something that you actually want and you know that is not malicious. However, the antivirus will quarantine it, so that way if it's not permanently deleted, you can restore it from the quarantine. You can add files to exclude that if you don't want them to scan. Add file extensions to exclude if you don't want them, to be scanned. And exclude entire directories if you don't want those scanned. Pretty straightforward stuff. Schedule. By default, we do schedule a scan on installation, but you can change this to a full scan. I highly suggest you do run a full scan once a week. And you pick the day and you pick the time, and it'll automatically run a full scan on that day and time. Once again, pretty standard stuff. That's antivirus. History. A list of malware items have been handled during scanning, so this tells you what it's found and when. And the quarantine. So when you look at the quarantine, if it's found items, it quarantines them. You can choose to delete them or restore them if you'd like to keep them. Once again, pretty standard stuff with our antivirus. Now, once again, it's a fantastic antivirus. In fact, we did not create this from scratch. It's an antivirus that we purchased from a company, but it is the same antivirus engine that is used in Google Docs and in Microsoft Office. So this is a well-established antivirus engine, once again, with 20-plus years of database definitions and the best heuristics in the industry. Pretty straightforward, though. Once again, the benefit or the value proposition is that why would you purchase an antivirus for the same price when you could get so much more? You could get an antivirus plus like SmartShield Plus. So settings, pretty straightforward, easy. If you'd like to change your password, you can. Of course, you have to remember the old password in order to change it. Once again, write that down and keep it in a safe place. And help. It has our website here. You can go and find some resources on our website, smartshieldplus.com, as well as our support, frequently asked questions, suggestions. We'd love to get your suggestions on how we can improve the product. And then if you'd like to review that quick guide again, you can click this and see the quick guide one more time. And that wraps up the product. As you can see, pretty simple, very easy to use, and very, very powerful, once again, to combat the threat of the 21st century threat. We believe this is the next generation of computer protection with SmartShield Plus antivirus. So please tell all your friends and neighbors and colleagues about SmartShield Plus antivirus and let them know that the 21st century has arrived for the home computing world. That wraps up our webinar today. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us today. We really appreciate your being here and learning about SmartShield Plus antivirus. I hope you're excited to see that we're doing new things here at Centurion, developing new products and going after new markets, and we want your help to spread the word. So please get out there once again and tell your friends and neighbors. I'd like to thank our co-organizers today who've been on the questions, Phil and Tony and John. Thank you very much. Tony, I'd like to see if we had any commonly asked questions. I'd like to turn it over to you and see if we had any questions that you'd like to call out at the end of the webinar here today, please.
Thanks, Jesse. Right now, I'm going to say we didn't have a whole lot of questions, but there were some that have come up in the past. One of which is kind of interesting. It's can I save to like a Dropbox or to an outside source while using SmartShield Plus? The answer to that is yes, of course. You can still use that. You can go ahead and save to any Dropbox type online application, and it will not be erased because it is actually not on your hard drive. Another one was just a basic, can I add software while it's in locked mode? And as Jesse had said, when you're in locked mode, you'll have to unlock it before you make any changes. Otherwise, you can go ahead and put that on there, but it will be erased upon reboot. And then last but not least would be, is the antivirus still running when you're in unlocked mode? And just like it says on there, the antivirus runs 24/7. So it never goes off unless for some reason you disable it. So even though you're unlocked and adding things to it, updating, you are still protected by the antivirus. Those are the questions that we have or we've had. Jesse, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Tony. Appreciate your sharing that. That's a great question about being locked and installing things, and we do get that often. As I mentioned earlier, I use this product on my home computer, and I can tell you I install things often while I'm in locked mode, and I do that on purpose. As a specific example, I was recently wanted to test out a free open source recording software that I wanted to potentially use, but I really wanted to test it, and I didn't want to install that and have to worry about it screwing up my computer if something went wrong. I just put it into locked mode. I knew that everything would be erased. I was able to install the software, play with it, use it, enjoy it, see that it was something that I thought would work and I would use. But if it hadn't been, I could easily just restart and get rid of it. I did restart and get rid of it, but I was able to go back out, unlock the computer, and put it into unlocked mode and install it permanently. So there are a lot of different uses for this product. This has been great for me to use at home with my children. I mean, they can royally screw up a computer very, very quickly. And so I just don't worry about it. I put it in locked mode and I let them play to their heart's content. So a lot of different situations, a lot of different ways you can use this product. And once again, a very much needed product. So once again, I thank you for being with us again today. If you found this webinar helpful, or if you enjoyed it in any way, or if you just love our product or just love us, please go out and like us on Facebook. Please follow us on Twitter and LinkedIn. We'd love to keep you updated on what's happening here at Centurion Technologies. I ask you to please be on the lookout for our next webinar. We'll be in a couple of weeks. We're going to have a security expert in to let us talk a little bit about security and the modern security aspects in the field right now. It's Scott Schaefer from Blade Technologies, and we're really looking forward to learning a lot in that webinar. Once again, we have recorded this webinar and it will be posted on YouTube. So if you'd like to view it, it will be up on our YouTube. Just go to our YouTube channel and just go to YouTube and search SmartShield AV and you should be able to find us. Thank you again. I'm going to conclude the webinar and stop right now, but we will leave the GoToWebinar panel open. If you have any other questions, we'll leave it open for about 5 minutes. Please get in your final questions so we can answer those. Thanks a lot for being with us today. We appreciate it. Once again, this is Jesse Hebison with Centurion Technologies, and we hope to talk to you soon.